One of the highest of stakes producers did an interview with Mind Your Biz when they covered a lot of stuff about Richard Hart's strategy, and what the potential future of the PulseChain ecosystem could have. They even went DJing and spoke about price.
She asks, if you had to guess, would you say that the film will have a positive, negative, or neutral impact on the price of Richard's products?
Let me say that some of you may have heard of The Queen's Gambit. It was a hit Netflix show a couple years ago, right? About a chess prodigy and a really difficult upbringing. When The Queen's Gambit came out and it was watched and viewed the way it was, chess sales went up 1,200%.
This was not the best part of the video. The best part was when they were talking about outrage marketing, which is something that Richard Hart engaged in for the past few months. And he spoke about how it is a strategy to get onboard more people. But the unique thing about the outrage strategy was that it happened at the same time as the highest of stakes was being recorded. Now, I think that's unique because if you are going to make a documentary, if you want that documentary to go viral, it's got to have some provocative, both emotionally provocative content. And I think that the outrage stage is going to prove very effective for that purpose.
We did this film in Richard's outrage phase, if you will. And so, you know, part of the revelation and diving into that a lot more is how strategic that was. Like, as you would have debates with him about why he's doing it and the pluses and the minuses and everything else, he was very aware, and it was very strategic, you know. And I think it was in Iceland. And it doesn't make the final movie because it's a little too long-winded. But I remember on camera asking him, like, you know, Richard, you're doing all this shit, like going and buying millions of dollars of stuff and walking down the street and trolling people all over the place. Like, what percentage of people do you actually think are going to like you when they watch the movie? You know, 80, 5%, but, and it was around 5%, I think, at the time, is what he had said. 5% of the people actually like the movie. And this is a guy who wants glory and wants people to love him. So it's like, okay, so is that not a problem? But his math was, well, yeah, but if millions more that wouldn't have known me, and y'all have heard this argument before, then I get 5% of that new audience. And so, like, the revelation was how far he had gone with that strategy, how much he had really thought it through, and how much he was just willing to leave it all on the line, like to do what needed to be done, to play the role, to do the character, to do the thing, to build the ecosystem. So that was interesting, wild, a revelation. Nice to see that there was more to it. You can hate it all you like, but the thing that always struck me is like what some of us dislike about him in the outrage phase is like what we dislike about us as a culture. Like he's making the stuff that plays to the algorithm and gets all the likes. If we stop liking it, he stops making it. So to dislike his behavior, we've got to like look inside at we're the ones that are sharing and commenting and flocking to this stuff, yet we want to demonize him for making it. I do think there's a broader cultural kind of thing there that like he's playing into our hands in terms of what will people actually watch.
Now he has since moved away from that outrage stage. And another thing that they spoke about was allowing Richard to be more vulnerable, which is another thing that I think that it's a step that happened possibly because of the highest of stakes, but it's going to have a huge impact on PulseChain moving forward. Because once Richard Hart finds out that actually being vulnerable and authentic and opening up more to people can actually be impactful and can actually grow the ecosystem, I think it's going to be almost like pouring gasoline on the fire, and it's going to cause us to really grow significantly the ecosystem.
One of the big arguments early on is like, people don't really give a shit about me and like the childhood stuff and my parents and the this and the that. And like, that doesn't matter. I want to talk about the tokenomics. And it's like, dude, you're speaking in a way that the audience isn't going to get. Like mainstream audience isn't going to understand the words you're saying. And people do actually care. And like, so we'd have to debate, argue about how much of that to give us, how much to go into. And that really did take some time. And there would be debates, arguments over doesn't matter, should it be in, how did we do it, like that kind of thing. But he would come around when we would be able to show examples and give him science. And my background is in I have a psych background and I do academic research. And so the moment you call his bluff and you're like, look, dude, I will show you the research paper that proves the character identification and vulnerability leads to more connection, which leads to more people actually liking what you do. He's like, fine, I'll answer your question. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do I really want to read that 12-page paper? No, he won't.
Here's what we're going to learn from the highest of stakes. We're going to learn who Richard Hart is as a person. And also get insight into the fact that he will leave no stone unturned in order to make PulseChain a success. At least that's what I can draw from this interview. But there's also some questions that I think will not be answered in the show, but that will make it even more exciting to watch what those are. Now, all in all, for this whole ecosystem, I think that in terms of price performance, we're probably in one of the best ecosystems to be in right now, right? But this could be a huge game changer. That could be a cultural moment that really shifts things for crypto in general and for the PulseChain ecosystem even more. Now, if movies can really change things, the way like we had an example with the Queen's Gambit, if it could increase sales of chessboards, this will definitely be an impactful thing in terms of crypto. I'm excited about it. It's a few days from now on, but unfortunately I won't get to watch it when it comes out, but hopefully they'll be able to deliver to worldwide soon. Anyway guys, thank you guys for watching, and see you again next time. And if you want to watch the full video, I'll leave a link in the description for the full video from Mind Your Business YouTube channel, and you can check out the full video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. And yeah guys, not financial advice.
Do you think that phase of his marketing and that his influence on the world is net positive in terms of people who want to emulate him, not people who want to use Hex or PulseChain or his products as a means to improve their financial picture, but people who want to literally be like him?
I think that is very dangerous territory. I love the question. I think that a lot of that, the answer still remains unknown, because I like where Richard's heading. And I hope that he's heading in a direction that's coming from a place of self-reflection and authenticity. Like I hope that he chooses to be the kind of leader and create the kind of followers that are going to make the world a better place. And that's not to say anything about where he's come from or anything else. The man has got a great deal of influence, and I hope that he is very intentional with how he uses that as a force for good, not just economic good, right? Like there's a lot more there. But I think the jury's still out, because, I mean, in the span that we've made this, he's shifted massively into outrage marketing and then out of outrage marketing. And a lot of that, he has said, is about onboarding, is about strategy. So at the end of the day, when all that's gone, who is Richard Hart or Richard Schuler? Who is he? And who do we actually return to, and who is that person? And will we get to see that person? Like, will we as an audience actually ever get to see that person, or will this be a character that lives on and play the role that it needs to play to achieve the glory and the ultimate goal that he wants? I think the jury's still out on that.